Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about the next part of chapter 2, which is called solving for a variable. But before we do that, we're going to go over the last video with one problem about solving equations with variables on both sides. So this question is kind of long, so I'm not going to write it out, but hopefully y'all will follow along. Janine has job offers at two companies. One company offers a start salary of $28,000 with a raise of $3,000 each year. So we're going to represent years in X. So since she's getting it each year, she gets it $3,000 per X, per years. The other company offers a starting salary of $36,000. One second. $36,000 with a raised salary every year of $2,000. So we're also going to put X. In how many years would Janine's salary be the same with both companies? And what will that salary be? So what they're asking is, that's why I've equalized them, because they're asking when will they become the same? When will both lines touch and join at one point? So in order to do this, we're just going to do what we did in the last video and solve for X, because they're asking what will that salary be, right? So we're just solving for X, because that's also they're asking what year would this been? And how many years would it be? So we're just going to remember how I like keeping my X's positive. So I'm first going to take out this 2,000. Because I like it staying positive, because if I took this 3,000 to this side, it would go to negative 1,000, which personally I don't prefer, so we'll just stick to that. 1,000, because 3,000 minus 2,000 is 1,000. Again, this is a loan. This really is like the loaner in this portion, as I said previously. So we're going to just subtract it out and join it with its friend. So we got 1,000x right here, and we're going to put this as 8,000. Now, all we have to do, solve for x. So in order to do this, we need x alone, but right now it has this huge number right here. So we're just going to divide that out. So x is equal to 8, which is the years that both companies will be equal. So now that it's 8 years, we need to figure out how much her salary would be in that 8 years for both companies. So we're just going to plug it into one of the equations. So I'll just choose 2,000 times 8, because it's x is 8. And it would be 52,000, which is the same as what it would be on this side. Okay, so we finished the review for the previous part of the chapter. So now we're going to go on to solving variables. Variables are very simple. As I've said before, it's just apples and oranges, and if you're just replacing them in terms of so these questions are asking you, they give you an equation with variables, and they're just saying, make the equation to where it's for x and not for this other y or k or whatever. So this first one we're going to do is y is equal to mx plus b. This is the standard equation for our lines and everything, basically the basis of math. We still use this equation in calculus and a lot of maths. So the first thing we're going to do, and it says solve for x. So we're going to be solving for x, where we want, since it's variables, obviously you can't divide them and cancel them out and stuff, but you can bring them to another side to make x alone. So the first thing we're going to do here is, to make x alone, we have to subtract or divide something. But at the moment, x is occupied with an m and a b. So when we're solving and when we are replacing variables and moving them to other sides, we want to do PEMDAS backwards. If there is an addition, let me just write it up here. PEM, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So if there is an addition or subtraction with the value we are solving for, we do that first. Because in this case, we are moving things to figure out how to solve it. But when we're actually solving with real values, we will be doing the parentheses first, subtraction, and addition last. So right now we have this added b here. We need to take that out before we can even find x. So y minus b is equal to mx. So pretend m is like a 2. So how do we get that 2 off of the x? Well, all you do is divide by the 2. So instead, we're just going to be dividing by this m. Oh, oops, I wrote this as 6. Sorry. Okay. So this equation to solve for x is y minus b over m. Okay. I am going to show you a couple more. So let's just keep PEMDAS in mind. Okay, so this next one we are going to be doing is A is equal to half BH. This is the triangle formula. Solve for B. My handwriting is really messy, so I'm sorry. But, so since we're solving for b, what I want to do first is take out this number, because personally I kind of hate fractions. Hopefully some of y'all agree with me because they're irritating. So I want to first take out this half because it annoys me. So we want to, I said this previously, but I'm going to explain it again because it is a little confusing. So to take out a fraction, you can't multiply it. Like if you multiply 1 over 2 times 1 over 2, it doesn't cancel out. It actually becomes 1 over 4 because you're multiplying top and bottom. But if you multiply 1 over 2 and 2 over 1, it actually cancels out because you're doing 2, because it's 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 1 is 2. And this just becomes 1. So basically the whole thing is just moving to 1. So which is why you call that a reciprocal. So now you multiply a times 2 over 1, which is just 2, is BH. Now we're solving for b. It's really messy, so I'm going to box it. We're solving for b, so all we have to do now is, like I said before, pretend the h is a 2. We just need to divide by that value. So we're just dividing by the h right here. So it's 2a over h is equal to b. That's the equation. Okay. The next one we're going to be talking about is c is equal to 2 pi r, and we're going to solve for c is circumference, circles, solve for r. Same thing we're doing here, except I take out numbers first. Even though it's not a fraction, I personally think you should take out numbers first. So we're going to take out this 2. If you didn't know, pi is actually a value, 3.1415, and it's numerous. It goes for a very long time, so it has a bunch of digits after that, but I prefer to just keep 3.142 or 3.1415. So we know that c is c over 2, or we could also name it as half c, depends on what you like, is equal to pi r. Now all we're going to do is, I personally don't like half c, so I'm just going to take that out, because I prefer to keep the numbers together rather than like looking two separate things. So yeah, so now we're just going to divide by what value? Since we're solving for r, we need to remove the pi. taking that out. So it'll be c over 2 pi, because we divided by both of them. Honestly, we could have even done divided by 2 pi and then just had the r alone, so it would look like that. Okay, we're going to do one last problem. So in this next one, we're going to do a is equal to half times a plus b h for h. I know this looks complicated. It looks a little weird just personally because there's two things that are multiplying with this inner parentheses value, but it's not bad. So similar to what we did in two examples ago, we're going to take out this fraction by multiplying by a2. Oops, sorry. By multiplying by a2. So we're going to do 2a is equal to a plus b times h. So what you have to do now is don't distribute this h to both of these values. Don't do that, because in the end you want the h alone, because that's what we're solving for right here. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to we can't subtract these a's and b's because it is being multiplied to something. So instead, we're just going to take the whole parentheses and just take it out of the equation. Just delete it. Cancel it out. Also remember, yes, I know there's an a right here and there's an a right here, but they're not the same because this a is different from this a. Like, this is an apple. This is an apple banana. It's an orange. So they're not the same thing. So what this is equal to is 2a over a plus b. Just keep it in mind that if there is an uppercase versus a lowercase, you do not combine the uppercase and lowercase, which consist of the same letter. You don't combine it. You keep it separate. Most of these questions are on the SAT. I've seen them on the SAT before when I took it. So I would make sure to know how to properly solve for the indicated variable up here, or just in general what they give you. So yeah, this is pretty important, and it's honestly, I wouldn't say it's fun because I never really liked math, but now that I'm like teaching it, it's okay. It's not that bad. So I would say that this is definitely the easier side of math. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hopefully you got to the end. If not, that's okay too. But thank you for watching, and bye. I'll see you all next time.